Hey gang, it's Fillmore. For those of you who are jonesing for the extra Sunday episodes, no longer available on YouTube, you can access them on patreon.com/JimFix, JIMFIXX. If you sign up for the Whiskey Sobbing Computer Board level at $2.50 a month, you'll have access not only to those extra Sunday episodes that are no longer available on YouTube, but you will get 50% of the Patreon content going forward. If you would like full access to all Sunday episodes, all Patreon content, including the last 32 episodes or 33 episodes produced thus far, just sign up for the Black Kluge $5 level or higher. If you want to give us more money, you are more than welcome to. For those of you who don't do PayPal, or Patreon rather, we have a PayPal address as well, johnnythegreek21@gmail.com. For those of you who cannot get Patreon to work and would like to use PayPal as a method of monthly payment, we will only accept donations from the Black Kluge level or higher. And privately, personally, we will send you all the episodes on Patreon and the missing Sunday episodes, of course.
Now, look, I don't want to get into a long explanation. That's not what I came here for. My audience isn't here to laugh.
Hour and a half. I have not taken a break. Spread the word about Sirius. We do not take commercial breaks that often. Let's go ahead to Randy.
I don't want to be in a wig and a purse. I do that in my personal life.
Jeff,
I don't want anybody touching me.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm with you.
Sometimes, like, hey, man, what's up?
Yeah, you touch me because you're paid to touch me.
I'm not saying I was the biggest stud, but I got mine. And I fucked some pretty good-looking women way before I was Howard Stern on the radio. Fuck off, assholes.
The nose I have now is gigantic, and the fact of the matter is, the reason it looks different on Letterman, which I've explained a million times, is that I keep the camera so far back on the E! Show, and I only shoot from the right-hand side.
You wouldn't turn the children against me, would you?
I would try.
She would, too.
She's coming and she's fighting on all sides.
No, but I'd win that one.
I wouldn't even have to do anything. If you ever did anything to hurt me, they would hate you.
I wouldn't hurt you. I just want to go out and have sex with some women.
Listen, by the way, considering what I'm going through, I feel horrible that your smoking hot girlfriend went to a movie without you last night.
And then came home.
Can I say something about that, though?
And then came home.
Let's be honest, though.
When he was knee-deep in Johnny Walker Blue.
Well,
It's a bachelor party.
I think it was a good idea for the beginning of it.
Yeah, I think you would have been just as weird. If we started at the beginning, you'd go, oh, my God, everyone's staring at me.
Not me. I love it. I love when people stare.
He loves to be stared at.
I love it.
Move into Sam's house and get the fuck out of our lives. We'll get Beetlejuice to pick out our chairs.
Get fatter, Artie. We're more of those fucking things.
Beetlejuice will pick out Howard Church. You can live with Sam and blow him. You're being a little
and not only that,
baby there.
No,
not only that,
I'm just trying to weigh it
You
out.
can't live without a stylist in your life?
Not only that,
I'm thinking who would be easier to replace.
I think Ralph, of course.
But there's a lot of
the
guys
guy
who
who picks out your clothes.
Chris, could you date Ralph? Would you?
No.
You couldn't?
No, look at that smile. He's lying.
You're lying.
Robin,
Tell the truth. Could you date Ralph?
No.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
I couldn't.
No.
We would have the best time, Robin. I
couldn't date Ralph.
You wouldn't talk to me.
I couldn't date Ralph, but I could fuck him. I'd fuck his brains out.
Well, maybe.
Maybe. If you guys
a lot of people feel that way.
I know Ralph is straight, but
All right, now I understand.
All right.
I don't understand. I can't understand gorgeous.
It's a straight place.
No guy, let me just say something about men. No man
Says gorgeous.
Really? This restaurant is gorgeous.
Okay.
Now, you got to understand something. Guys don't talk that way.
Next time.
Guy goes, hey, it was a good lunch.
And it was sort of set
well, the sketch, what the controversy was, it was Patrick Swayze who was, gorgeous.
Welcome, everybody, to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm your host, Fillmore, a.k.a. Jim Fix. If this doesn't already sound like a recording, a pre-recorded intro, I apologize. You get into a cadence, that's what it sounds like. I'm here with Sam, of course, and Bob. Welcome, guys.
Hey, everybody.
Bobby Chicago.
Live and direct.
Yes, live on tape. And so what we're going to do is, this is actually Wiggy Dearest Volume 2 or Part 2, however I've written it on the poster, the what do you call it, profile picture? Profile picture, thumbnail, whatever the fuck it's called. And what we're going to do is going to go, as we said, guys, more clip heavy in this particular episode because the first episode was a little talky. And the first clip is from
October 15th, 2008, and it was Wiggy Ray calling in about his therapy. So here we go.
That you discuss with your psychiatrist and how you react to a certain situation.
My mother is so hung up on my psychiatrist. She's so upset. She gets so angry. She goes, this is what she says to me. Fat psychiatrist. You don't need a...
I cannot imagine what is going on there for so many years.
Do you know I'm insane?
I can't imagine.
Do you know how miserable I am inside?
Okay, let's keep going.
How miserable you are.
Miserable.
Do you know how miserable?
Do you know how narcissistic I am? Do you know how focused on me I am and not on others?
That doesn't necessarily mean you're miserable.
I want to have a more... I want to have a healthy life with my wife. I want to be able to listen to her. I want to be able to hear what she's saying.
Your wife is very satisfied. She told me.
Because I'm in therapy. She met me 10 years ago. I went into therapy.
In Ray's head, what is satisfying in a marriage is somebody who could probably, well, I'm sure she's thinking, well, you're taken care of. You're fine. You're satisfied. Look at your house, look at your bullshit purses and your jewelry and your whatever. You're fine. You're satisfied. Even though your son's a closet at home, or you know what I mean? It's like, you're fine. Things are great.
Well, yeah, but I always find it funny when he tells on himself and he goes, you know how narcissistic I am? Like, he knows he has NPD. The psychiatrist has told him this. He is way too acquainted with that word. This is a guy who doesn't fucking know a thing about a thing. And he somehow knows everything about narcissism. And, you know, he definitely has been diagnosed with it. There's no fucking doubt. And I think Ray knows that he's talking about her. And Ray doesn't want to think that she did any damage because she's a narcissist too. And she just knows, like, narcissists have a sense for someone's talking sense into this person and bringing up shit that I did. So they want to devalue it.
Bob, have you noticed in the more recent breakdowns, I don't know if you've caught completely up, but in the more recent breakdowns, he does mention narcissism more often in the 2000, like since in the last 4 years, he mentions it more often. He's more quick to talk about it.
Which I believe it.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's embraced it. I mean, the psychiatrist.
He knows it. He's been diagnosed with it. He knows way too much about it. He doesn't know, and he doesn't know how to get home from his studio in Manhattan, but he fucking knows about, you know, psychological personality disorders. There's no way. He's been diagnosed with it. He's been talked to about it for a while. So
And I think at some point the therapist must have been trying to get him to see how other people must feel about this. But then at some point it seems like it shifted and he just doesn't care how other people feel. And it's I don't know what they do now. Because
you can't do anything for
that's
it.
That's why I don't believe he's in therapy anymore. I don't think he's in therapy at all.
He's paying someone to listen to him cry is what he's in. And that's all it is. That's really all it is. Because I've had people, you know, weigh in on our chats and stuff about there's a way to fix it and there's new therapies. There's no fixing this, man. Yeah. There is no fixing it. It just is what it is.
He's in analysis. He's not in action. He's not seeing a psychologist. He's seeing a psychoanalyst. Like he's seeing a Freudian therapist, which has long since been debunked. But either way, there is no cure. Bob's absolutely right. At least, I mean, there's nothing they have come up with that's chemically ingestible where he can just take this drink and all of a sudden become, you know, buddy love or something. But which would be great. I'd love to see a remake of the Nutty Professor, the nutty Professor with Wiggy, the hair slicked back, the wig. I don't know. He turns into
What was that character he had? Handsome Hung Howie.
Oh, Hung Handsome Howard. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. And then where he's going on.
That was a treat.
It was like his wildest fantasy, and all he did was took his wife on a vacation to Italy.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is your wildest. You are so dysfunctional.
You're hung like Pete Davidson in Italy.
Do you know what I did? You know what I did that was wild? I ate a whole plate of pasta.
Yeah.
I had a pack of M&Ms. Woohoo.
And you know what? I used the bread to sop up the sauce.
I ate 6 whole almonds all at once.
I didn't peel them.
And half a beer.
Light Corona.
Do you know what? I opened it myself with my own bottle opener. So let's continue a little bit.
Yeah. And without therapy, she wouldn't have liked you?
See, you take it as a personal affront to your parenting.
No, I certainly do not.
You do. You feel.
Do not.
Why do you feel challenged by this?
I don't feel challenged. You're putting words in my mouth.
You hate that I'm going to a psychiatrist. I know it, and I don't know why you feel so threatened by it. No, you feel
going to a psychiatrist.
You think
I'm just curious. I would like to know what goes on. What kind of questions?
You want to be honest?
Okay, a little more.
Want to be honest? I talk a lot about you.
You talk a lot about me.
Yeah.
Of course, you talk a lot about me because that's your life. That was your life. But and I don't resent that. I would just like to know what kind of questions he asks you.
Well, we talk about. He doesn't ask any questions.
That's
We talk
not
about
the process.
You don't understand what psychiatry is.
It's a ripoff.
No, I know.
We're locked up in the house with each other.
Locked up.
And a lot.
Gotta love Artie.
Oh, God, I miss him. Come back.
So, should I play a little more of this before we continue?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Went down.
I never saw a lock.
No, you know what I'm talking about.
We didn't even lock our front door, for God's
Like we talk about the fears you put into me.
What?
I talk about the fears you put into me.
The fears
You made me very afraid of the world.
What? How did I do that?
All right, I'll do an impression of you. This is every day of my life.
Oh, fuck. Guys, prepare. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I don't like to talk about the Holocaust, but I don't even want to see. I don't want to see a German spoon in this house.
We have had one conversation about.
Oh, you don't mind? Remember the German ice cream spoon?
The what?
Remember you bought an ice cream scooper that was from Germany and you threw it in the garbage?
Well, I was upset at that time with the Germans. Yeah.
Okay. So keep in mind, guys, Ray was not a Holocaust survivor. She was a child. Like there is a history of having lost some family in the Holocaust, but she was not a survivor. She had nothing to do with Auschwitz. She wasn't of that generation. So she's going on, and the thing is, the thing that works against Howard all these years is he brings up the same fucking stories every single time, and it's not like if he made it that she repeated these things again and again, which he has done as well. He said, but he does the same thing. I don't know that it lessens. Like the argument of the whole concept of this particular episode and the previous one is Ray's responsible for his NPD because she's a narcissist as well. But I don't know if we know him to be an unreliable narrator. That's always been my main problem with listening to him say things about her. Like, do you trust him?
No.
Is the question.
I trust him because I hear it with her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hear it now, and she may not be a Holocaust survivor, but we are all survivors of hearing the same fucking story over and over again. So we are all in this together.
His impression is our Holocaust.
Well, at least we're together.
Her voice is just horrible. I mean, every time I hear her, and his impression is just as bad. But again, kind of what she was saying was what I was going back to. They both knew it was on the table. It's like they're kind of skirting around the issue, but Howard wants to go, I'm in this because of you. She knows he's in it because of her. And he finally just goes, I'm in there talking about you a lot. And
so
of
do you
course,
guys think
this is the only place he can talk to her is on the air. So.
Just 1 sec, Sam. Do you guys think that she enjoys the fact that he's so overwrought about this crap? Because she's in his. Do you think she enjoys that she's in his head?
Not if she's being told on.
I don't think she enjoys him being in therapy at all. I don't think she likes that at all. No, because remember, she's a narcissist and she is a false self too. Okay. And hers is that she was a great mother, but she just wasn't, and his sister, who seems to be a little bit more with it, has kind of indicated that as well, that she was maybe the one, not Ben, that was a little bit off her rocker and not quite emotionally available. And that's sort of what I've picked up on, at least over the years. So,
and so, she's losing control via the therapist. That's something that would set her off, you think?
Well, she thinks someone's finding me out. And something's jeopardizing my illusion and words getting out on me. I mean, narcissists do not like the truth coming out about them.
Absolutely. No. Sam?
At all.
Well, notice how he said, you made me afraid of the world. And he confronts her with this, but then he goes to like a sillier story about the German spoon versus something that I think could have been more personal directed. Like he took the funnier story. And then to that end, think about now how he lives in COVID and will not come out of his house. So it's really apparent that he does. Yeah. So she did make him afraid.
Everything.
Yeah.
That's where the crux of it goes in, and we could actually play. I have a number of clips that I don't know if I got to in the last breakdown, but if I didn't, you guys are going to hear them. Where no, you know what it was? Instagram. And let me see if I can get at it. Give me just one moment. I'll talk us into it. I'm going to get the Instagram clips and put them. I think Raven and I are going to do a special Patreon episode of them, maybe, because it's the dynamic that he and Beth have. It's strange. She doesn't have the tools to really fight him the way he could fight Ray. Because he's an older guy, like he's powerful, he's got money and all this shit. But the power dynamic is completely different in Beth's case. So what you hear from her is she's got to take her swipes when she can. If she's on the air, she can do it. And that's about the only time I think she feels she can, cut him down a little bit. But then she still has to cushion it. I can't remember the context. It was something like, a fan messaged them on Instagram and said, what do you find difficult about each other? And he says something like, I don't like these people she goes out with. I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. He makes a video and he's very authoritative in it. Yes.
She's got her head down.
Yes.
And of course, she can't compete with him the way that he can compete with his mother, because he controls her financially. Yeah. He controls her life. He controls everything about her. And he says, what's one thing, you wish you could change? He says, I just don't think you need to be negative all the time. Or what he tells her is, there's people that have access to you. The reason why that dovetails into this, what we're talking about now, is because this psychiatrist has access to Howard. Access basically just means someone's in your ear and is telling you the fucking truth. There's a big difference where if you're like, hey, you're going out with someone, you guys are doing drugs, I don't think you should be around those people. They're into this and that. You're going to get into some shit. He's saying they have access to you, meaning they're talking to you. They're saying shit about me to you. Yeah. They're saying shit I do is fucked up.
Yeah.
It's almost like a conservatorship like Britney Spears was under, like her dad kept these dancers out of her life, like people, makeup artists, hairstylists that she hung out with. All of a sudden he just fired them. And if they got too close to her, boom, they're gone. Like nobody could get near her.
That dynamic was fascinating. That was like almost such a Truman Show type of situation.
Yeah. And so she would literally have secret meetings with people. I mean, it was almost like CIA level just to get access to talk to people.
Yeah.
I bet you Beth's in the same thing. And someone's just telling her like, yo, whatever Howard's doing is fucked up, man. Mm-hmm. And they have access. There's a big difference if someone has access to, if someone's like, I've talked to friends before and been like, dude, quit hanging out with this guy. Like he hangs around bad people. You're going to get beat down, whatever, like just you're going to get into drugs. That's not even the conversation that he had with his own wife. Said someone's talking to you that shouldn't be talking to you. What could they possibly be saying?
Did Raven send you the link, Bub?
Yeah, we all saw it. It went up on the page.
Oh, okay.
On the web page.
Okay.
How much-
maybe that's why I couldn't find it. Yep.
How much do you want to bet, like how Brittany had her phone tapped basically and her dad could read all of her text messages because the phone plan was on his thing that he set up? So how much do you want to bet Howard has something similar going on with Beth where she knows if she messages somebody on that phone, he can read it.
Mm-hmm.
He gets it through an iPad or a...
Oh, yeah. Because she's an idiot, and he has more than enough access to people who can do that for him because he's a 79, but he can get someone to say, look, just go into this app, it'll tell you exactly who she's messaging. So the only way she's getting out is if she has some burner phone that he doesn't know about, which she could get, certainly.
Probably on one of her kitten runs.
Yeah, she's sending messages with all those cats. She's tying messages to them and sending them out into the world. Like a pigeon.
Pretty soon the spackle on the wall will say, help me.
Well, what the fuck? He is the wiretap. He has nothing to do but watch her, and like he doesn't do anything. He doesn't have any hobbies or friends. He doesn't go anywhere. She is his life.
The only other time I saw her stick up for herself was on vacation when she wants to stay somewhere and she's around a bunch of other people.
Right.
She will then flaunt that having fun, but then has hell to pay and then has to go home.
Yeah.
Right.
So is it worth it? Well, it may not be, it may be, but I think
maybe in the moment.
in the moment she's going to enjoy it because she knows he's not going to say shit. He's just going to storm off like a little bitch, go to the bed, and then he'll have to seethe for a while. But in the meantime, another wine, please. Open up another bottle.
Please make it a 0.27.
Another carafe.
That's right. break out the LP. Okay, here we go.
That's true.
Yeah, okay.
But that doesn't put fear into you. How does that put fear into you?
Well, Ma, listen, you had a horrible childhood, and I took it all in. You know, there wasn't a day I didn't hear about when you were 9.
That's not true. You see,
Ma, you asked me. You're asking me what I talk about in therapy, and I'm telling you what scared me. The world sounded like a scary place. You're far.
You know what's fascinating is when Howard asked his staff to do the same thing, like when they confront him about what bothers them about him, he goes, "That's not true. You're crazy.
Yep.
That's not true." Yeah. He does this exact thing to people.
It's gaslighting.
Yeah.
I guarantee it happened. I guarantee Howard's telling the truth.
Well, yeah.
To a point.
To a point.
He's a little bit of a baby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, I think he's being honest here. Yeah. I think she did do this. And I think it did fuck him up. And I do think this is where he got his personality disorder from 100%.
And so he reenacts the abuse. Like I'm going to sound like Ham Hands Bill. He reenacts this abuse with his staff.
And Beth.
With everybody.
And Beth and everybody else. Yeah. So it's just a vicious cycle, essentially. Yeah.
And essentially his mom again.
and then the pets. Jesus, I just tell people about that Helen Rose sketch where the cat looks fearful, like the cat looks like everybody else in his life. Oh my God, they're getting closer, that kind of shit. And that sketch, if he did do it, it perfectly captures the fear of, oh my God, she's back, run like the wind, guys. And
I'm sorry, all their cats look deeply unhealthy.
Oh yeah,
all of them.
Yeah.
Well, look at their owners. I mean,
what do we say? The Stern household is a pamphlet for a myriad of psychological problems.
Oh,
anorexia,
God.
anorexia, narcissism.
I wouldn't be surprised if Beth is sneaking some of their food when Howard's not looking.
Eating the bowl.
Treat for you, treat for me. Oh yeah, Howard, cats eat cereal now.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to
Purina instead of, was it Mr. Christie?
father
Meow mix.
out of his house. He didn't care for you.
At what age did I tell you this?
You told me my whole life.
Oh, that's not true.
I used to hear you.
That
I used to
is
hear you
not
on the phone
true.
with
That
your
is
father.
something-
I used to hear you and your father talking on the phone about this stuff. Listen.
Me and my father.
Yes, you had a horrible phone call with your father once.
Once.
Yes.
See, I love that. Like when he said it. He said it. So whatever it is, he retained it. For sure. I believe that much. But he makes it sound like, oh, it happened all the time. And then all of a sudden it happened once. That's my problem, Bob. This is what often comes up. He brings up an instance. What I think was repetitive was maybe him and his mother and her repeating the same stories, because he's guilty of that too.
Oh, I mean, if she had a bad relationship with her dad, like he does have with his own daughters, who probably talk to him once in a blue moon. She probably didn't talk to her dad that much, and that's, all it takes is one phone call.
Yeah,
to set shit off for a long time.
Lord have mercy.
Because I was very aware of. Ma, I felt for you. I care about you. You're my mother. I was very worried about you.
Listen, Howard.
And you were very sad for many years.
You say things that every normal human being encounters in their life.
So I, of course, take this all in, and a lot of fears came out of it as well. It's not a criticism of you. It's just the way I was formed. And so I'm going to try to become my own man and not live your childhood, live mine.
But he has so many handlers. How's he living his own life when he needs a tutor for everything?
And just basically needs every little thing done for him, like turning on the television.
Right.
Having his toenails clipped. And how is this not a criticism of her?
Yeah.
I mean, she filled him with fear and horrible stories.
I know.
Sounds like a fucking criticism to me.
Hey, what did
That's gaslighting.
Well, what happened this weekend? Oh, we went camping. My parents, we started a fire. We had hot dogs. Yeah, what did you do? Oh, they took me to a concert. It was great. What did your mother do? She filled me with fear.
fear and Holocaust stories.
Did you ever see? I don't know if you guys were ever fans, but in The King of Queens, there's one episode, I think season 6, called The Angry Family, where they go to the school and the kid has written a story, and he made a book called The Angry Family, and he says and they think it's about his family. He's telling class, and so they have to go into counseling to this priest. And it's just one of what's one of my favorite fucking episodes, because they just go off on each other inside of the priest's whatever, they're in the rectory. And anyway, I recommend that to anybody. Go on, find that one episode. It's like the first episode of that season. Let's continue.
This is taking you
over 10 years, and I've hardly made a dent.
Don't become me. I feel bad. I really do.
Listen, it's okay. I'll get over you.
No, stop it. It's not her fault.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault you had a tough life, but I took a lot of it in. That's all. So I'm working through it. Dad, too. Dad had a horrible life.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, really. You know that.
I think you had a very good life.
Well, the difference is Ben took it on the chin, and I don't think I'm sure he told Howard eventually about what went on with his life, or maybe Ray did. I don't know. But Ben would have been the kind of guy to just kind of stiff up her lip and goes, yeah, that was life. Pick your fucking, to get a helmet and move on.
I think Ben and Ellen are more alike, and
Yes.
Ray and Howard.
Yeah, they're stoics.
symbiotic.
They're stoics. Absolutely. And there's one clip I would like to play, one of these episodes, if not this one, where Howard gets Ellen's daughter, his niece, on the phone, and then he starts talking to her, and then Ellen comes on, and they have a little discussion about parenting, and it's a great, great call. I know I have it somewhere, but I think it would be good
I want to hear that.
Yeah, so we'll see how much we can get.
Ma,
That's my opinion.
I didn't say I had a bad life. I just told you I have certain fears.
I didn't say I had a bad life. You talk endlessly about how awful your fucking life was in Roosevelt, in high school, at camp. You couldn't get at college. It all sucked. And you changed it and said, I got a model in college.
There's never a good life. I mean, we all see the good things, but it's such gaslighting.
Oh God, we're going to get in shit for this for 3 gaslightings in one episode. We'll have to make up a buzzword for it, but fuck it, that's what it is. What else do you call it?
What else do you call it?
That's what it is.
Fuel igniting. I don't know. Here we go, guys.
But I had
being a terrible mother.
No, you had a horrible life.
Oh, I
not
had
me.
a horrible life.
You had a good life once you married Dad, but you had a horrible childhood. I feel sad about that.
So
I care about
what
you.
to do about that?
But Ma, you asked me what I talk about in therapy. I'm telling you. That's why you hate therapy.
In other words, you're overcoming my bad life.
No. Yeah, well, yeah, in a sense, but also a lot of other things.
Well, listen, Howard.
Homosexuality.
I'm just, I just wanted you to know your father's and my feeling about those questions. It's embarrassing.
Ma, you lost. You knew me least.
You're not really upset about that.
No, I'm joking around.
Thank you.
Actually, but Howard is turning it into a very serious.
No, you hate me.
Bob, wasn't that one of the first things you said? The whole couch it in the premise of I'm joking around, but it's not a joke.
Yeah, they're always joking around,
right,
all the time.
Yeah.
That's all they do is joke around. These people.
Yeah.
So
when Howard dies, she's gonna have a party. I'm joking.
That's one of the best clips ever. And the thing that sells it is Artie's laugh.
I'm joking. Come on.
Oh yeah. You know, the thing too that kind of adds up for me is you see this with, there's a lot of NPD relationships that someone can have, but one with a parent is the parent will definitely, an NPD parent will definitely put a lot of their own emotional burden on their child. And you actually see a reverse parent-child dynamic to where the child becomes the parent and the parent becomes a child. So this would actually be pretty consistent with what you'd see with a parent with NPD for sure, what Howard's describing.
Well, we've played in some breakdowns, I think, earlier on, basically about how she's avoiding his call now. And because he says, quote, and I've got the clip, he does nothing but complain.
I was going to say, join the club. Who isn't avoiding this guy's call now?
Everybody.
Everyone.
I know Chris Rock and I are friends, but it's
his
weird.
Own mom. His own mom is avoiding.
She's like 100.
One of Jerry Lewis's kids was on an interview after he passed away. Jerry passed away and said, when the doorbell rang, all of us kids scattered. We knew to run because we didn't know what kind of mood he'd be in.
Oh yeah.
And I believe it. Like I love I love a lot of Jerry Lewis's stuff. My God, he must have been just a complete tyrant at the house. So just imagine the same thing. But it's just Beth and the cats and him. So when he gets home, I'm certain he just goes and does his own fucking thing. And whatever interactions they have is limited and stilted. And we see it. That's the evidence. And I want to ask you guys, but you especially, Sam, when these Instagram videos come out, certain ones, she wants them to come out, or there's certain ones he wants out. There's other ones she absolutely wants out to make him look like a shithead. You agree?
Yes, I do. I think that there's ones where she puts him in there. I don't know if it's to maybe just make it look like he's there, like they're together. Like, hey, see, we're still living together. We're still here. We're doing it. This marriage thing.
Okay, so I'm just wondering if you guys think that they don't realize that these things are getting out there. They don't realize how it makes them look, or they know completely how it makes them look.
I think they have no idea how it makes them look. They're oblivious.
Really? Okay.
And
okay.
Howard has this just bizarre authoritative persona in all those videos.
Oh, yeah.
Instagram videos. But it makes sense because narcissists really thrive. There's a reason why they always want to be home, and Howard wants to be home. They really thrive in the home. That's where they exert so much of their dominance. They can control almost everything. They can control the people in it. They really exist within that home structure. And you even see it in those videos where he's almost talking to her like a fucking drill sergeant, or it's very accusatory and almost like a deposition in some of the videos.
It's also a lot of tell me. Like he's giving her orders like, say this, tell me that. You know, I mean, kind of like how you would talk to a toddler, like, what are you eating? What do you got there? But you want the baby to talk, like they're just learning to talk. So you want them to identify an object. So you're saying, what is that in your hand? What do you got there? But that's not how you talk to your wife.
Well, it might be how you talk to your something you own. The thing is, also, when you mentioned about him being at the house and that's being, he can be king shit there. Also, I found that more recently in the book promotion tour, where he had to be interviewed in studio all the time instead of on location somewhere. And guys, remember, this is pre-pandemic. It's 2019. He can go into a Good Morning, Good Morning, or USA Today's office and do it there. And he can go to CNN and be interviewed by so-and-so or Huffington Post. But it's like, oh, gee, no, let them come to me. I feel way more comfortable here. I think as he's gotten older, it's only gotten more to the point where he's so much more insular, where I can only do so much. Like this is as far as I'm going to let the walls down. You got to come over here and do it here because I control this space.
Yes.
Yeah. There's more security blankets. There's more control. There's more everything.
And if you see those interviews, if you look at them now, because a lot of them are on YouTube, you can tell how uncomfortable he is, even though he's in his environment, because he doesn't know necessarily what questions are going to be asked. And you can see him sort of like his stiff, his back is up and, oh God, whatever. You're like, oh, what's next? What's next?
Well, look, you guys are doing right now the Gary party, right?
The dinner party. Baba Booey's feast.
Okay, so you see how much he even tried to control. This didn't start at the right time. This should have started at this time. It should have been this kind of shove. It should have been this kind of food. It should have been moved on at this time. It should, you see how much of a control goes in with these people, and and sadly, the people that are close to him, like Beth, I mean, they want to control more than that. Like, that's all ancillary. When someone's as close in a primary supply as Beth, they want to control your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and they will get close to doing that. And in order to do that, like what Howard's mom did to him, fear is your biggest ally whenever you're trying to control someone on that kind of level, and instilling that type of fear and erasing that kind of individuality. We see kind of Howard describing this now. I was filled with fear. Fear is and always will be the number one controlling mechanism for any group and any person. There will be, and narcissists know this and they exploit this.
Yeah, right. Weaponized fear. Jesus.
Yeah, going to therapy. I understand you feel
I do not hate you. Listen, Howard, what can I tell you?
I talk about what a wonderful
you that I don't hate.
And I talk about what a wonderful, loving mother I had.
I'm curious about your going.
You love me so much, I was smothered.
You were smothered?
Yes.
Oh.
But that's not your fault. You love me so much.
Well, I don't know. In what way were you smothered?
Well, I mean, listen, you told me I was your ambassador to the world.
Well, you...
Jesus, okay. I got to play this out a little more, guys.
What?
That turned me into Jesus Christ.
But I never told you that as a little... Right?
That I represent you.
You do.
And that I am your ambassador to the world.
At what age?
From the time I was little.
That's not true.
Yeah, of course.
That is not true, Howard. No, I never told you that when you were little. You were a man when I told you that.
I couldn't wear jeans to school.
You couldn't wear jeans.
Okay, this is where some of his story starts to unravel a bit. Now, typically, and it's what she might have said it to him, and I believe she did, and I believe it was as an adult. But if it was as a kid, it wouldn't surprise me based on how she's reacting. But all parents want their kids to represent them when they're outside. If they, it's a testament to the kind of parenting they've done. So the kid does say please and thank you, and the kid opens the door for people and helps clean up and asks the teacher, helps the teacher or whatever like that. Parents are very proud to hear that their kids are well mannered. I mean, I don't think that's such a strange thing to expect, but they certainly, most parents wouldn't say, you represent me.
Right.
Out there. You're my agent.
I think you show the example, you're the example. And then when they go out in the world, you say, okay, don't forget to say please and thank you. Right. Be very respectful, blah, blah, blah. But you're the example. You don't say, hey, when you get out there on your play date, you're representing me. All right. So you're the ambassador of me.
Don't fuck this up.
Me.
Yeah. Bob?
Well, again, this is... And I'm really not trying to make this fit. With NPD, they want to erase you to a point that you essentially become an extension of them. This is, again, a classic NPD mechanism. You essentially are them. You are another limb of them.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what he's alluding to. But the other interesting thing here, and what you see with a lot of that narcissistic relationship cycle, when he goes, you turn me into Jesus Christ. Okay. So when they develop a new relationship with somebody, the first step isn't devaluement. The step before that is where they actually turn you into almost like a deity. And it's almost like they project so much. Like, let's say I met Phil Moore and we hung out. And I'm like, man, you're just like this genius, and you put together this pot. Like, I just start building you. And then after a while, you're like, man, no, I'm just kind of a regular guy. And then like the pressure just keeps building on you. And it gets to be to a point that you're almost like stressed out. And you're like, Bob, there's no way I can live up to your idea of me. And I see that so frequently with NPD people that I actually forget all the names in the step, but it's something like
love bombing.
Love bombing is one of the things that they do in the beginning, for sure. And that's a part of building you up. But they build someone up to a point, like all the stuff that he projects onto Beth, you don't shit. He's like, that's great. Remember he's telling everybody that? Like, he's almost saying you're not even a
bunch of languages.
You're not a human being. You're a person like, it's almost like, dude, I can't live up to this idea that you have. Right. And they'll start chipping away at it like, oh, you weren't there for me at that point. Or, if we go back to what I was, an analogy with you and me is like, Fillmore didn't know where to go to, have the perfect dinner tonight in the city. And Fillmore actually didn't. It's like they start devaluing you that way, and it starts to chip away at your self-esteem. So I think Howard's mother set up this dynamic where she was building him through the roof. And he said, you built me up like Jesus Christ. And no one can live up to that. And it chips away at people. So,
well, then in a very similar way, then he did the same to Beth, but on the air when she wasn't around, by saying she was a model, she was this, she's had all these guys hitting on her, she's dumped. And that stupid, retarded interview she did with Benji where she goes, I cheated on every guy I was with before Howard. With him, my cheating days were over. As if to make her sound, I don't know, it certainly didn't make her sound virtuous. It sounded like I'm the fucking Pittsburgh pincushion. But the idea that he built her up originally as being this, really smart, this fucking polyglot. She's seen the world, she's this, she's that. And then the fans start hating her already because, like, well, we know you're full of shit. And you're making us
this good.
That's right. And all of a sudden now you start looking for flaws and you start waiting for it. You're like,
exactly.
All we hear is all this smoke you're blowing up our ass. But then when she comes on, she sounds like a fucking provincial dullard, and she can't say anything in English. Fuck French and German. So what are you saying? And then all of a sudden it becomes, instead of just like tolerating Beth, the fans actively start to look for reasons to hate her. And then you're saying saying is that he would do this. He would just unravel that false self, that build up reverses eventually.
It's almost like so let's say Sam and I are friends. She's never met Fillmore. I'm like telling her, this guy, everything he says is just hilarious, and he's got all these great ideas about what we can do. And then I tell you that, Fillmore, I'm like, dude, I told her that you have all these great ideas, everything there's no way that you can live up to that.
Yeah,
it's like, if we finally all meet and everything you're saying isn't funny, I'm like, oh, I thought it'd be more funny. And you're like, yeah, dude, I never said that I was like an endless well of, humor. But with Beth, like he's saying like she's not even human. She doesn't shit. He's bragging about that.
I've never seen her asshole.
That's a pretty human thing to do. So there's no way that she can live up to that and sustain that. And she's done her best. And unfortunately, she's kind of malnourished herself, and I think really sacrificed a lot of her mental and physical health, because people want to uphold that to stay a part of the illusion, because they feed off the illusion. Beth knows what the illusion is. We all know what the illusion is with Howard. Everyone in his life knows what it is, and certain people are benefiting from keeping it going. Ralph benefits from it. Beth benefits from it. His staff benefits from it. But we all know the truth and the reality.
And it's so plain as day when people like Jimmy Dore get on a podcast and say, "How that's a fucking wig." Like right out the gate. Like that illusion is just gone in 2 seconds. Nobody else is buying that. And except for the people that are keeping around him, keeping that going.
Yeah.
In his head, where he thinks I'm getting away with it.
He pays them to keep it going. And by the way, I looked up that MPD cycle. The stage 1 that I was talking about is called idealization.
Okay.
And then stage 2 is devaluation, and stage 3 rejection, and then discard. So
wow. Okay. Well, and we have you have used those terms before. It's just been a while since we started those early episodes. But I find it amazing, and it wouldn't surprise me if one day, just because her system's completely fucking shot, that Beth just wakes up, like one day she's just found laying there somewhere, and she could have all kinds of systemic problems because of being malnourished, because she does looking
have
awful.
Systemic problems. She's pre-diabetic. She has anemia.
Yep.
She's clearly underweight. These are all issues that pertain to your central nervous system function, really. Because when your central nervous system's on high alert, it locks up your digestive function. And we see it already. She's talked about having these issues. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think her heart's going to give out. And one day she's just going to be fucking laying there on the couch, and it's going to be she'll be like Lane Staley. But the way Wiggy is, God only knows, you probably just leave someone else. Can we get a fucking corpse tutor in here to wheel this out?
He won't know how to call 911.
The taxidermist, I don't know. Let's continue.
To school. That was really bad.
Yeah. I'm getting over it. No, Ma, listen. Therapy is a chance for me to become a better man. What's so threatening about that? I wish Dad.
It's wonderful.
Don't you wish Dad had been in therapy?
I think it's wonderful.
Don't you think you would have been a better parent, and Dad would have been a better parent, and a better Dad and I would have even more of a relationship if he had learned the things I've learned in therapy?
Oh, fuck off.
More of a relationship?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Of course, but things get better.
He had a very good relationship with him.
Ben probably thought so, but he didn't realize he was raising fucking Godzilla.
She gets all. You
can't change this.
Well,
right. We have a great relationship.
It's a question of point of view. I want to tell you something.
See, you're not even there, and you're so threatened by therapy that I'm there. You're afraid that they're poisoning me against you. They're not.
Why do you keep telling me what I'm afraid of?
Because you keep saying it's a point of view.
Has your relationship improved with Howard since he's been in therapy?
Yes.
I always thought I had.
He has to answer for her, first of all, and second of all, God, if when you get the two of them on the line, which unfortunately can't happen anymore, I kind of wish it would. It only illustrates more each time exactly how like her he is.
He is. It's her point and it's his point, and they're both passing each other. Like they are not even having a conversation. It's this is my point. This is my point. I'll answer for you. I'll answer for you. Nobody's listening.
Projection.
Oh my God. I hate them both.
He is her now, right? I mean, we're all in agreement on that. He is Ray.
A worse version of Ray, I'd say.
At least Ray still has her own hair.
He's
Ray
like has stories that are real.
Well, it's I mean, the impressions got old. Let's be honest. 15 years ago. I mean, I still enjoyed them for a while, but then eventually it's like, are you really crutching on this? I'm still surprised he doesn't bring out fucking Ted Kennedy on the megaphone.
Stop! Don't jinx that. If I hear that impression in the next couple of weeks, I will fucking kill you. I cannot hear Ted Kennedy.
Would you rather hear?
They brought back the agent voice recently, and I go, "You got to be kidding me! I thought we were done with this."
Yeah, I thought we were done since Millie is now legal. But he seems to have. But Benjamin and I recorded Colford Part 5. And it's going to be on YouTube. And I think I put the inserts in. But when I included the clip where he talks about the Olsen twins being pieces of asses, and Benjamin went and got pictures of them from 2000, and they're like 13. They look 11, 10, like 12.
I know.
They looked 11 when they were like 25. I never got that whole thing with them. That is so disturbing.
It is incredibly disturbing. And I just can't imagine how he didn't get fucking, I don't know, like some people knocking on his door going, we have a few questions for you.
I never got the Olsen twins are hot thing either. I just thought they were cute. First of all, they're not like hourglass figures. They still look like little boards. They're not. I don't get it.
Well, they were, and the other thing is, of course, it doesn't help the fact they were. Full House was so syndicated. You always see them as these little kids.
Oh
right?
Yeah. That was even more disturbing about the whole thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, so you imagine he was at home watching Full House on reruns, like a continuous loop in his house. But he still doesn't know Saget. It's disgusting.
Anything.
Yeah, fucking idiot.
Had a good relationship. What do you mean improved?
I'm just asking if you've seen any change.
I always thought my relationship was great.
It was.
And is.
And Howard went on the air and said, I always thought I was easy to deal with. Tom, you say I'm difficult? I wish I could juxtapose that.
Not me, Howard. Everybody else.
Yeah, the station. All the station managers all think you're difficult. Not me. The advertisers don't like you, and the rest of your staff don't like you. But you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gotten even better since I'm in therapy.
That's what you think.
I'm able to tolerate you.
Oh,
but I don't think that.
Stop it.
Listen, Mother.
Yes,
you
Mom.
have nothing to be afraid of. You are a terrific mommy. I love you. The fact that you lost the contest about who knows me best.
I am
To a total stranger.
You lost to a total stranger.
And this is post that Who Knows Howard Best game that they did on the air with him, Ralph, the parents, and Beth. And when he said, the happiest time of my life was at Well Bet. And they go, not your kids?
Oh, my God. It is so... Can you imagine?
He wasn't even joking.
Yeah, it was my 6th grade bus ride. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I would love for the kids to hear that and then respond. I would love to get Emily's response listening to it.
It makes sense now that Emily's in the woods with some shawl on her head singing God knows what by herself.
Yeah.
I bet they know their dad. I bet they know their dad real well. In fact, they could probably tell stories that he doesn't want to come out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They're dating men successfully.
You know what? She's created an amazing ambassador. You know the kind of son you've raised? He just kicked a woman out of here because she would not show us her labia.
Yeah.
Who's talking?
Artie, the heroin addict.
Yeah, right.
Could you repeat that?
No, I was making a dumb joke. I'm sorry, but not at your expense. At Howard.
At Howard's expense.
At Howard's expense.
Mom, I'm going to tell you something. You have nothing to be ashamed of.
Believe me, I'm not ashamed.
You're a good woman. I love my mommy.
I think you're terrific.
I love my daddy.
And I am
Okay, let's keep going.
very proud of the job I did. And I want to say something. I think I'm a very generous woman to share my son with the world.
Yes.
That's
What a tell.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Zing.
do we still need to discuss whether or not she's a narcissist? Can we just
probably
all
not.
come to an agreement now?
Can we all just pick up our mics and drop them at the same time?
That's literally the guy on the street opening up his overcoat and showing you all these watches hanging out of them. Go, hey, check this out. And
We're
the
done,
string
everyone.
dangling. Exactly.
how I.
But did you really have a choice?
I didn't want a choice.
No, but you don't have a choice. I chose
do
to.
that, and I wanted you to do what you wanted to do.
But it's funny how you take credit for my career by saying you allowed me to be shared with the world.
I don't take credit for your career.
That's Don
I
Buchwald.
take credit.
It's Don Buchwald. Already was he could not be more right.
To that.
Oh, big
Yeah.
time,
Oh, yeah.
man. Oh, God, that's a whole other episode, guys. We'll have that one in the can eventually.
That fuck.
Attitude toward your career,
Right. You do have a good attitude.
and that's what I take credit for.
Listen,
But where was the monster comment? Where did that come
Ma, you did say something very revealing yesterday, even though it was a joke.
Yeah, what?
When you were in the studio, you said, I was asking you, you mentioned that you had had a miscarriage before me, and you said, gee, who knows what type of monster I would have given birth to.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, that might be the best line I've heard yet.
Oh.
I don't recall that.
Oh my God, these people are horrible.
These people, they're fucking vampire people. They're not even people. I mean, what kind of a comment?
A baby is a monster? Oh my God.
Bob.
That takes the cake, man. That is one of the best lines I've heard on the Stern Show ever.
Who knows what type of monster I would have produced? Well, I'll tell you, we'll go outside and put a stake through its heart. Christ. Monsters, Inc.
Her fucking womb is Monsters, Inc.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike
funny, though.
Wazowski waltzing out of there.
Well, we've got we don't get. There's a whole lot of Ellen. Like, we don't hear enough from Ellen to really. I'd love to get her sister's perspective more, and we do have some clips of her on, and I will play some eventually within this series because the dynamic between him and his sister fascinates me in some ways as much as him with his parents because they just had this completely different personalities. Bob's still loving it.
He said, "Who knows what kind of monster?" About a miscarriage.
Well, it explains why he could make fodder of Allison's miscarriage on the radio. Fuck.
That's so true.
What a terrible thing to say.
Oh, listen.
All right.
Listen.
All right, I get it. I'm back together.
Bob's gonna go splash some cold water on his face.
One of my friends asked his mother like what the he was like as a child, and this is the answer he got from his mother, who's a complete fucking putana. She said, "I don't know. I just wanted you out of me." that's
a little better.
And he was like, it bothered him a little bit, but then I go, whatever, don't worry about it. You're here now. She didn't abort you. Let's continue.
That time. even in a joke to refer to me as a monster, which I haven't brought up.
How?
And I didn't bring it. I didn't have room for that comment in therapy on Tuesday.
I haven't even gotten around to it.
But I'm getting to that on Thursday.
You're losing your sense of humor.
No, but let's be serious. Let's say I know
in
you
our
said it.
family, we always had a sense of humor.
But why do we have to have a sense of humor at my expense? If I said, Dad, what kind of monster are you? Do you think he would have laughed or he would have beaten the shit out of me? I once made comments about that. Threatened to punch me out.
You know what it was?
Yeah.
No, he never fucking threatened to punch him out. That's
Ben
bullshit.
is not a violent man.
No.
You just look at him.
He would have earned that beating if he'd gotten it, but
she hates her kids. She looks at them as monsters. She hates them. Just like Howard hates his kids, she hated her kids.
Wow.
God knows what monster I would have had. That is so good.
Oh.
He did a schmo and he threatened to punch me out.
And he chased you around with a belt.
Yes.
Your father never punched you out.
He tried, and I locked myself in a bathroom.
Oh, please.
So when you say to me on the air, who knows what type of monster I would have given birth to that time, do you really believe on some level that anything you gave birth to would be a monster?
No.
In other words...
No. Do I
let this play out.
believe you're a monster? Of course not. You're the sweetest people in the whole world.
But yet you said it.
I was joking.
I know, but many a truth is said in jest.
I do think you're overreacting.
No. Come on.
Oh, listen, and you know
I would never say my mother's a monster. My mother's a lovely, beautiful
you're
woman.
the nicest person
Beautiful. Let's not get carried away.
in the
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I don't mean to get that shallow, but come
Traumatic.
on. You don't create a
say.
creature like Howard without fucking having pissed in the gene pool a little bit too much.
Listen,
what?
He knows. He knows that she meant it. That's why he's not. He speaks her language. He's her. That's why he's like, no, you meant that. I speak what you speak. You definitely don't.
But it was just a joke. I was just joking around, right?
Oh yeah, I'm just joking.
Plus, right, it's just like when he gets backed into a corner about Artie or anybody.
Yeah.
He said it's just a joke. By the way, monster also has, you could think of it like giving birth to a monster, like you're going to be a horrible person or whatever. But Howard is a very vain person. So when he says monster, he's also probably thinking she thinks I'm ugly. She thinks I'm an ugly, hideous monster, like the Beast.
The creature from the from the Black Lagoon.
Yes. So he's probably really hung up on that.
Well, he's not wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
he does look like something you found in a live bait shop.
I mean, he is hideous.
You know what I was thinking about, Fillmore, when we were doing the Patreon the other day? You were playing clips from when he was on AGT. Oh, yeah. And it was like the whole AGT staff or whatever, cast.
Yeah, they're all pretty,
it was like
decent looking.
These good looking people and this just anaconda hanging around the background. Like just a lurking threat. He looks so out of place with these people.
Yeah, they don't even look like the same species.
It reminded
me. No, they don't.
Like it was like a different show. Like, oh wait, did we invite somebody from Hogwarts to join the cast? like one of the Defense of the Dark Arts teachers.
It's like one of the leftover costumes from Star Wars.
It's just like what the fuck? Like Hagrid's skinny fucking brother came to join the cast.
He's twice as tall as everybody, and they're like taking these photo shoots, and he just looks like a slithering like a reptile, like he's just gonna hurt one of them. He looks so out of place on that.
When Lucas made Star Wars, there was all these extra aliens that they never got to use, these costumes that were held together with like tape and shit. And when they did, there was a Christmas special, a Star Wars Christmas special around that time. You can find it on YouTube. And one of the aliens, the whole cast called it cunt face because it looked like a big vagina. And that's Howard on AGT, cunt face.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's be honest. He's always had an issue about his looks. And listen, I understand that because God knows I've got friends growing up. They wanted nose jobs, never got one. Like, it was plastic surgery was a lot more expensive back in the day. Now I'm sure it's still not cheap, but it's more, there's certain things you could do to change, like mole removal and all these the removal. Things have, really progressed. They would have definitely have had a better life and certainly better, luck with the opposite sex had they gotten these treatments back in the day. So I get that. But he, when you talk about looks, man, he was not dealt a good hand. Sam?
You know what AGT, the whole thing reminds me of? It's like I think when he did it, it's kind of like going grocery shopping hungry and you come home with more stuff than you bargained for. I think he thought he wanted the exposure, like he wanted to do something and he wanted to make the fun announcement. Yay, I'm on a primetime show. I'm doing AGT. But then he realized, oh, shit.
Now I'm on HGTV.
Sit here. I have angles I don't like. I have lighting I don't like. I have people I don't like. And I don't like people. So, oops.
Yeah.
And I don't like work.
I bargained for too much here.
Right, and so he started dressing like Little Lord Fauntleroy on that fucking show, and you put him in a suit like we said, the suits wear him. It was just like those those paper things, those old dolls where you make your own clothing. Anyway, you're right, but the AG and the AGT is going to be a whole fucking other saga, and when we get into that one, I know Raven's going to be all over that with clips and gifs and all that. That's going to be a fun one. Let's continue, and then we'll take a break.
As far as I'm concerned, I feel you have all the right standards. I feel you treat people well.
That's on the conscious level. Subconsciously,
very well.
Subconsciously, you might think your own children are monsters. Did you ever hate me?
Best children.
Did you ever resent me or hate me?
Huh?
Did you ever resent me or hate me?
No.
Then you need to be in therapy.
I should resent him.
Sure, of course.
I think.
Did you ever resent?
Well, he hates her. He's hoping for her to say that so he can justify the fact that he can't stand her. He says he loves her.
He also resents his children.
Yes, he does. Absolutely.
I mean, for the fact that I had a good childhood and you didn't. That's maybe many times. Say to me, son,
you are the child.
You have everything I didn't
wanted, and you are the person that I think is great.
And he also asks almost every guest who has siblings, were you jealous of your siblings? Do you think they were jealous of you? The same kind of dynamic. Was there always some kind of, did you think, fuck them? Why should they be acting? I'm the only actor in this family, that kind of crap. So, wow, just no one's immune. Ray's getting this too.
And that's the way I really feel.
Well, I love you.
And I love you too. But I think the questions were unfair.
All right, fair enough. Next, we'll have a round two.
I just wanted to contest it.
Can you give me a question that you think would be relevant? Give me an idea of what you think would have been a good question.
I have to think about it. I really would have to think about the questions. You want me to make up questions?
Yes, I want you to make up questions. Because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, you're so sensitive and you're so into sensitive questions. I felt that there should be some heart-rendering questions. But you know something?
Okay, a little bit more, guys.
I don't think you want to reveal yourself.
I do want to. I will answer any question you say.
All right, then I'm going to make up some questions for you and have a contest.
Wait, Dad's on the phone. He wants to say something. All right. Hold on a sec. Yeah, Dad.
Hello, Howard.
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Hello, Dad.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, I'm listening.
Thank you.
What was that?
All right. There was Dad.
It was just clips. It wasn't really him, but that actually was kind of funny. Sorry, guys. Rare moment of comedy on the Stern Show. Who remembers that?
That's a tape. Mom, joke. That's what my mom hears every day.
What happened to him?
He's gone. That was a tape.
Oh, that was a tape.
Right.
That's very funny.
How's Dad doing? Can you hear stuff?
What?
Is Dad?
That's cute.
He does, but she doesn't want to wear one.
Really?
She's getting like my dad. My dad fought the hearing aid. And
Listen,
yes.
you know, this is not the subject we're on, my hearing. So, all right. Thank you for listening.
All right,
to
Mom,
me.
listen to me. I love you and adore you.
I know that, Howard.
You are a good mother, and my father is a good father. He was my hero growing up. And,
Well,
and
that
here's
was-
here's another one for you. Still
that
is.
was news to him, he said.
That's right. Still is. All right. Thank you, Mother.
You'd never know, depending on the day. Most of the times he was
Or
the
the
first
book.
father on. Yeah, or the book, exactly. Just a little bit more, guys.
All right.
I love you very much. There you go. You got to say that. You know what? I got to make everything good. Listen, she's a lovely woman. They are so threatened by this psychiatry. I hear about it.
They think they're being blamed for everything in there.
Yeah.
They think it's some sort of evaluation on what they did.
Right.
Yep.
No.
They take it personally.
And let's face it is.
Oh, no.
Yes, I was just
Yeah,
Artie.
exactly.
He took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to say that. God,
He's right.
God, I love Artie.
God, he's such a scalpel. When that show, when he ever had something to say, he didn't have to say anything for a half hour. Then he'd give you something, a little fucking, just a little jab, and all of a sudden, boom, knockout.
You know, even with all his demons and whatever
Yeah.
that psychology is for being a drug addict,
Sure.
he was the realest person. You know, he was just he was the sounding board of realness in that room that they are sorely lacking now.
God, he never made me laugh more than he went on them about the Dog Academy Awards. And he said they got to be so fucking gay. Then he goes into the Proud of Willie story. Go ahead, Bob.
Sam, you're saying you think that it's lacking some realism now on the show?
Yes.
Just a tad.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. You think there's not a lot of common sense now?
No.
No, none. I mean, it's like.
All right. Just wanted to check.
Thanks for getting the temperature, Bob.
Yeah.
Common sense.
You know,
0.0.
At house, they are not the same.
Right.
So it's not the parents.
We're both fucked up, though.
Oh, stop it.
No, I'm just kidding. My sister's beautiful. She's wonderful.
It's your reaction to
right.
what's going on.
All right, look.
Guys, I found the audio and I found the Instagram, even though I'm not on Instagram just yet. I will start it up as soon as I figure out my passwords to one of my 6 accounts. And this is the thing we were talking about. Raven sent me this one.
All right.
How about a
Do
comment?
question of the day here. Pebble's out in the hall. Bella is eating her chicken.
It's about to shit on the mirror.
What are you doing? What's this one doing? What are you doing?
That's an evil cat.
Who cares what it's doing?
What about me is hardest for you to understand?
What about you is hardest for me to understand?
Can I go first?
I can't even say. I can't say it, but I know I have an answer.
Oh, I don't understand.
There are certain people in your life who I think you should not they should not have access to you. And I don't understand why they do.
Okay.
But I do understand. I get it because you've explained it to me.
What is hardest for me to understand about you is your sometimes negativity.
What?
They can't even look at each
positive.
other.
What's the matter with you? How do you say that?
Sure.
Honey, you're very negative. People don't know this
come
about
on.
Beth. Everyone thinks she's such an angel, but she's so negative.
Oh, please.
You know you
Go
are.
take your nap.
Oh my fucking
Oh,
God.
God. And
And that smile, that
But
Like-
because she lost all like nutrition from her body, it literally is just a skeleton with a
it's feeding-
smile.
it's feeding off itself. All the muscle mass
God.
is being fucking consumed.
They are living with each other. They can't even look at each other.
No, they can't. God, just disgusting. Anyway, I will see if I can include the video in the it depends. I don't know if this is going to be a Patreon episode or a YouTube episode because now we have to be really selective. But I know Sam's going to want the Tracy versus Gary Part 2 on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
That's visual. So we're going to definitely try to keep visual stuff on YouTube because hence, why else do you have videos out there? The next clip, guys, I'm going to play a little short one.
My mother's quote was, "I want my children to anticipate my needs.
Wow.
And understand what I need so that they will understand others." No, that's not how it works. All I do is understand her needs, and now I resent everybody else's needs.
Okay, before we get into that, I'll give you guys the timeline. March 24th, 2020. Sam?
When you're a mother, all you do from the time they are born is anticipate your baby's needs. When are they going to be hungry? When are they going to be tired? When do they need to be burped? Whatever. It is, and then from there, it just gets even more needs, more compounded until they can take care of themselves, and that's what you build. There is not a single second I think, what is Mia going to do for me? It's what is Mia going to do for herself that makes her feel good, and then our home feel good. What are you going to do for the family because you want to, because you feel pride in doing that, not because I want you anticipating my needs. I don't want to wake up thinking, oh shit.
That's what I'm saying. There's a total inverse, like I said before, where the child becomes the parent. So you're saying as a parent, it's supposed to be the opposite. And what I was saying, when you have an NPD parent, it inverses to where you have the complete different relationship to where the child starts to mother or father the parent because they're anticipating their needs. That's why NPD parents are really, I mean, any relationship with any of these fucking people on any level is traumatic. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's hard to say whether like a spouse or a parent or I don't know, but I would have to imagine a mother and son is probably a pretty severe dichotomy because a mother just has so much emotional access, but
it's
yeah,
a strange,
total inverse.
It's a strange dynamic between mother, son, father, daughter. My sister is like me. We don't give a fuck how we look so much. She naturally looks great. But she's not so, she doesn't really give a fuck about what other people think. And my mother thinks a lot about what other people think. So it was always like, why don't you do your hair like this? And why don't you basically be like me? And then so she got along way better with dad because she was more like dad. In this case with Howard, he's like Ray, but it's nothing that's beneficial. It's not a relationship. Like if she's damaged, he's damaged.
But Ray turned him
that
into
means
a parent.
Yeah,
right.
Ray turned him into a parent is kind of what he's saying and what happens often. Right. And I do see that happen more with narcissistic mothers too, because they usually have damaged relationships with their fathers, so they gravitate more towards a male kind of protection. But anyways,
yeah,
I do think though, like with mothers and daughters, the ones who do push that, why aren't you doing your hair like that or your makeup like that or pushing that, that's not good. You need to let them be what they want to be. I mean, brush your hair, brush your teeth, whatever, the regular hygiene things, but let them come into their own. Pushing that on them is not good.
In terms of dynamics, personality was such a defining factor in who you got along with as friends and whoever else. So even within families, it doesn't necessarily have to be an NPD thing, but there can be such a clash that when they say who's your favorite kid or who's your favorite parent, they have an answer. I love my dad more than my mom, that kind of thing. So with him, I just find it amazing. Go ahead.
It becomes very prevalent in an NPD family structure because there's going to be a scapegoat child.
Sure.
There's going to be a golden child. And I get the impression that Howard's sister was maybe the scapegoat, at least for Ray and Howard. Obvious. From where I'm sitting, it's pretty obvious she doted over him and idealized him. And I don't see him being the scapegoat by any means in that family dynamic.
So would you say that Ben, if Ellen had Ben's personality, that would have enabled her with enough strength of will to just say, well, fuck both of you kind of thing. I'm fine. I don't have the psychological problems you have because I'm not either of you.
It's possible. I mean, every person, regardless, wants both parents' affection.
Right.
But if she has a proclivity to be more towards Ben, like we've said, which is a more stoic, rational, pragmatic, less emotional. You have to understand NPD people, they're highly emotionally dysregulated and emotionally driven. Mm-hmm. People that are closer to probably what Ben and Howard's sister are not going to be as emotionally driven. They're going to be more pragmatic and rational.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know. In my family, I'm the woman now. I'm the head. I want to be. Because,
Okay, he's the woman. Okay. Well, he dresses like a woman. That's not going to help. This clip is called Wiggy Raised Like Hitler, and it goes back to, my guess is early 90s. So, because there's no date on it.
Look, I said I don't know what I'll do if my kid is smoking a joint, okay?
Okay, well, anyway, Howard.
How the hell do I...
When we're talking, like, when I say early 90s, I'm not joking. The story about the audio quality, guys, that's what we had to deal with.
You know what I'm going to do. I barely know what to do when she talks back to me.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to come off like my mother came off of me every minute like a little Hitler.
Right.
Oh, like a Hitler raising me. Everything I did. I mean, now I'm afraid to step on a twig because I was raised from Hitler.
Okay. Hello, Robin. How are you doing this morning?
I'm okay.
This is blaspheme.
A woman saying she's Hitler is on the phone.
I think that's Gay Rich, by the way.
I miss him.
Yeah.
Hitler checking in.
Hitler is checking in. That's right.
I'm afraid of my own shadow from Hitler.
You're afraid of your own shadow?
No, you were incredibly,
Howard.
It took me till I was 34 years old to get an earring.
Somebody to blame for your inadequacy.
I blame you.
You figure it's me, right?
Yep. Heil Ma.
How good was this show when you had the Jackie? You can laugh. You had Fred with drops at the ready when it wasn't even that easy. Carts.
It was so great to march.
Yeah, exactly.
It's perfect. The Nazis are marching in Heil Ma.
Heil Mommy.
Well, I'm not going to...
You got to loosen up.
I got to loosen up.
Just loosen up.
I think you're a little too loose.
It's a little too late for... Yeah, that's the point. Why are you busy wondering whether I'm loose or not?
I want to know why you're so hostile toward me.
Make a few friends. Go out and party with them. Stop listening.
He got an earring at 34.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that. It's a year younger than me. I've missed the earring boat. I'm out.
You think, there's a cutoff age where it's a little bit of a midlife crisis if you're going.
I got my second hole in 7th grade.
To the show so much.
Oh, I shouldn't listen anymore?
Because I'm a complete
you
anal compulsive.
Me to answer the question.
I'm obsessive compulsive.
First you said anal compulsive. I wonder why. Freudian slip.
Anal retentive from being raised by a woman who wouldn't let me walk out the door without.
Don't you think you're old enough to take full responsibility for your behavior?
How's my father, Eva Braun, doing?
Your father?
Eva Braun.
Your father is Eva Braun?
Yeah, Eva Braun.
How do you figure this?
Hitler's girlfriend.
Okay, a little more.
That's interesting. He called her Hitler, the woman, and he's calling Ben Eva Braun.
Mm-hmm. Who dressed in drag from time to time at the temple.
But more so because Ray is clearly the dominant NPD evil force in that household, and Ben's just the Eva Braun along for the Heil ride.
I guess so.
Yep.
This is funny.
It better be, or my rating's going to sink.
Oh, Howard,
No, in all seriousness, Ma, you were a little heavy-handed in raising me. A little too worried about everything.
I was very concerned.
Took me till I was 34 years old to get an earring.
And I did the best.
No wonder he discovered alcohol at 40.
34 years old to get an earring. I would never reveal that to the public.
No.
That's so fucking lame.
That's incredible. Yeah,
34?
exactly.
I mean, think about the time he spent agonizing over a tattoo. At 40 something.
And then and he actually went on the air because I'd like to do something about this. I got it done. It was kind of shitty, whatever. And then the looks, like going from look to look every couple of years, and then deciding I'm going to go with the rock look instead of a piercing until Wellington grunge.
Rock look.
In 92, he still looked like in 92, he still looked like he should have been in the Cherry Pie video.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Job I could do. And now...
No, you were a little too involved.
You were a little too involved.
You should have gotten a job and made me a latchkey kid.
A latchkey?
Yeah.
I should have made you something, but I don't know what.
You know how he
My father's out back digging a bunker. Digging Hitler's bunker. A split-level bunker.
Can you imagine calling your mother Hitler?
No, I didn't say you were Hitler. I said you raised me like a little Hitler.
Okay. So the way he's explained it, she raised him like a little Hitler to be like Hitler.
No, I think he screwed up.
He did.
I think so. I think it's just narcissist double speak, really.
And maybe 79.
And now,
I don't.
And he hates confrontation, so he's got to backpedal right out of this.
Yeah, big time.
Oh.
You were
that doesn't mean I'm Hitler.
You're a very intense mother. You're into intense mothering. Smothering.
Well, let me tell you something. I must have done something right.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, Ray. I really don't.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, no, it's just that I don't mean to be. I'm sorry if it came off negatively, but it's just that sometimes such intense mothering is.
Before,
I'm a 34-year-old man. I don't need
Howard,
that. Yeah.
You just don't say nice things to me and to other people. And I think you should think before you speak.
Well, here's my point. Do you hear this? This is the way she's talking my whole life. I mean, if I did anything wrong, it was such a guilt trip.
Well,
that
what
to the point where I have such a super ego.
You be responsible for your actions?
Bob.
Again, like we've talked about with Beth, if she even slips up or does something wrong, she has to pay for it forever. And that it's those guilt trips. It's those things that stick with you forever. That's what drives this whole central nervous system to become, basically like PTSD, like someone that's been in a war. Like it's the overwhelming guilt and whatever that comes with you slipping up even for a second. Mm-hmm. He's even talking about that here back then. And
the one thing I forgot to bring up, but in the visual, if you guys get to see it, I'll put a link to it if I can for the Instagram video. And the reason why I played it, if you look at the video itself, you hear before Beth goes, she has to couch. She goes before she says, why do you have to be so sometimes negative? The way she said it was like she was going to say, why do you have to be so fucking negative? But she had to stifle it and cushion it somehow because he wouldn't be able to take it. And as it was, he wasn't able to take the cushioning version of it. So
of course
it's the same dynamic he's got
negative,
with Ray.
Fillmore. What are you talking about? We just don't know.
Bingo. Right.
She's negative.
Yeah.
And how long have we heard Howard tell story after story of his mom just being horrifically negative about her childhood, about hating all the adults that he liked in his life, and just creating a house of misery. And he is Ray. He's Ray Stern. Rayzilla, as Sam called him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Such a super ego now. It's like I hear I walk down the street and I think about, well, maybe I see like $1 on the street laying on the floor. I hear my mother in the background, don't pick it up.
I never
don't
said
pick it
don't
up.
pick it
don't
up.
take it. Return it.
God, talk about a Sophie's choice.
That's an easy choice.
It would have been an easy choice, Howard. You have OCD. Why would you pick up a dirty $1 on the ground? Oh, wait, because you're faking that illness?
Yeah. But it's $1. If it was a fucking penny, he'd tackle people to get at it. Jesus. He'd be elbowing grandmothers to get at that fucking nickel.
Oh,
you hear that voice.
Fountains in the mall must give him a hard on.
He throws in a piece of wadded paper to me, colored to look like a coin.
He brings a snorkel to the mall.
A power magnet at the end of a hook.
Big shop bag.
Picking up everybody's wishes and dreams.
Oh my God. Just remind me of the Benny Hill wishing well, where he puts a coin in he's with his wife, and then this hot chick appears instead of the wife, and she's in a bikini. Then the bikini chick throws in a coin, and then this big muscle guy appears. Then the muscle guy throws in a coin, and the girl disappears. That's how
these two. Let's face it, both of these Rays that we're listening to right now, I don't know if I can get through this whole clip, man. I'm seeing how much is going on here. Both their voices are just
it's so hard.
It's excruciating.
I hate I hate both of them.
Could you imagine Howard on It's a Small World? Have you ever seen how many coins are in the bottom of that moat? Oh my God. If he went on one vacation, it would be there with a big...
I could hear him talking about it. Yeah, all these people, they just threw their coins in. You never believe it. Yeah, you just walk in there and soak them all up.
Hard on by the fountain. He's lowering Emily by the ankles to go to the water to go grab some.
He's got his kids. He bought his kids snorkels.
Well, I don't think he'd go out of pocket, but he certainly...
Oh yeah, let's not get crazy. But he's got his kids wading through the waters.
Yeah. Hey,
how many kids do we have, Allison? 3. Get all 3 of them down. There's a whole fucking lake of these coins.
She's a baby. Oh, she's fine. She'll be fine.
They're walking back to the car with a wheelbarrow.
He throws Bianca in.
That copper goes a long way.
Or cracking in the background. I hear that voice all the time. There's got to be a way to get rid of the superego. You know what? I hear if you do enough LSD, it goes away. But so does half of your mind.
Yeah, it's like you don't know.
Is that bad to return things to their owner?
No, it's just that I hear that I hear your voice in the back of my head all the time.
But is it a bad voice?
It's an annoying voice.
It's an annoying
voice. It's not healthy to hear that voice every minute.
No. And
so
you mean to tell me you don't teach your children the right thing?
Plus now I'm like real superstitious and stuff. I think like bad things are going to happen to me.
I'm asking the question.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's so annoying. I felt the need to fucking replicate it on my show for 30 years.
I can't do anymore.
The voice, man. I'm telling you, I'm in pain.
Okay, well, come on.
It's like 2 of them. It's like two of them simultaneously attacking me.
Take an edible. Left speaker, left rant, right rant. Hold on, guys. Come on. We'll power through a little bit.
Plus,
you don't teach your children the right thing?
To a degree.
To a degree? What degree is that? What degree is that?
I don't like. Okay, when I want to go to bed, when my kid wants.
Did you teach your children to say to their mother, "You see me once a week and you think you know me"? Did you teach them that?
I never said that to them.
Yes, you said that to me.
Well, to you, I say that.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I don't like.
Doing a good job of raising.
You haven't heard the last of that
You
one
take
yet.
my sister's children out shopping and stuff. I never see you do that with my kids.
So whiny, right?
God, well, that's his stock and trade. They're both the two of them are like gravel going through my fucking ear canal.
Oh my God, it really is. It's terrible. It's like
the good news is they're both dying alone.
Well, Ben's still kicking, and that's he's in his own little hell. But at least he doesn't have to fucking speak to them.
Your kids are not available.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Mm.
And what's this got to do with the kids? I was talking to you.
Well, you don't take me shopping anymore.
Take you shopping.
Yeah, you know, maybe I want some nice blue Levi pants. You're the only woman I know who knows where to find them. I love you. Listen, it's not a question of love. You see, you take.
He must have also, Beth. Sorry, he must have had a hard on going through the women's boutiques as well, Sam. Going with Ray, getting women's,
You know what?
like Levi's.
I understand Ben now. I get Ben. I'd dress up like a woman and run out of the house too if I had to listen to these two fucking idiots. I'd be like, why are you leaving, Ben? I'm gonna dress up like a fucking woman and go to church. Don't follow me.
You think Ben had ulterior motives for offering to be an alcoholic with her?
Oh yeah, be an alcoholic, be a cross-dresser, whatever he was doing, whatever to get out of the house. I want out of this fucking clip. I mean,
give me a keg and a straw.
God.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Everything is a question of love.
Kids have a problem with the way they were raised. Don't take it personally.
Oh, come on, Robin. To call your mother a Hitler?
Wow, that's nice compared to what Robin called her mother.
Okay, so maybe, I guess, probably post 95. So maybe 95, 96, guys. Sorry. But either way, I was going to say, yeah, all kids make up stuff about their parents like you did, Robin, for an entire book.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Let me say something nice. What? M is for the many neuroses.
No, I don't need that. I don't need that. Howard, you haven't heard the last of it.
No, here's the point, Mother. And let me just sum it up for you. Because, you know, you're trying to be open-minded.
You have to start behaving yourself.
That's the point.
And take full responsibility for your actions because it's time, Howard.
You hear that voice? Now that voice. This is why Robin. You know that I'm superstitious.
Mm-hmm. About what? I'm not superstitious.
Oh my God! Let me just for a break in the fire. I gotta get it. Just hold on.
Can you just kill me,
voice, dude? I want to die. Like this voice is horrible.
How come you're superstitious?
Because that's how
superstitious is for ignorant people.
That's how I interpreted your behavior.
That's superstition?
That you could control behavior by outside forces.
Like Sarno?
In what way? I don't understand what you're saying.
Because if you do this, good things will happen. If you do that, bad things will happen. If you do, everything was broken down into a battle versus good and evil. And these good and evil thoughts are going on all the time.
Well, are you good? When you say mean things to people, are you good?
Oh, my Lord. And this is after the first episode where they're talking about, you know, when he's explaining about how they used to trash people together just to get along with her.
Mm-hmm. Like people not on the radio for entertainment, like neighbors.
Yeah, just for the sake of, you know, shooting the shit in the kitchen, Lord.
That's just the point.
That's just the point, Howard.
If I'm good. What did she say again?
Are you good?
Are you good if you say mean things to people? All right, let me think about that.
Good?
Give me a second to think and I'll tell you.
About it.
Well, it depends.
No, Robin, you can't answer this.
Hard question.
Who's evil? Hey, I've never been mean to anybody.
Oh.
I gotta isolate that.
I'm sorry.
Does this show hold up? I've wondered this about Howard.
What the older stuff?
Shows hold up.
Some things.
I don't know. Like I listen back on like old O&A clips and like genuinely laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and like
God,
sometimes I revisit Howard. I'm like, does this hold up? Is this guy like
Some segments.
I was thinking about this last night. It's like everyone. I mean, I don't know. I guess I got to hear certain things, but it's like Robin's not talented. Fred's not talented. Howard's not really that talented. We have on this like I don't know. I wonder how well this holds up.
As a whole, O&A holds up forever. It's that good.
It's also
good.
Well, there's a couple reasons for that. Go ahead.
But Howard holds up for a few reasons. there was nobody like him that slammed award shows and stuff. That nobody was doing that. Everybody was praising award shows back in the day. Remember, it would be like post Grammy, post Academy Awards, and everybody was like the fashion, the this, the that.
Yeah.
Who gets the interview? You know, the
Entertainment
sword.
Tonight.
Nobody was doing what he was doing. It was fan-fucking-tastic. It was hilarious. I could not wait the next day after an award show to turn on the show the next day.
Well, a bit like this wouldn't age well because he's just oversaturated the fucking audience with Ray impressions for 30 years by this point. The difference is on O&A.
Is it just that?
Hold on,
Is
just
it
one second.
just that?
On O&A, if you tune into an interview, he's got not an interview, just a segment where Patrice is in there and they're just chatting with him. Even though whatever the subjects are talking about might be a little dated, it's still a great conversation. But this conversation with Ray is it's not going to hold up because it's just too fucking self-absorbed.
And I gotta
say, exactly, it's so self-absorbed.
When Artie got on the
Sam.
scene, Artie got on the scene, that's when it got better for me.
Oh yes,
that's when it became actually really funny a lot of times because he knocked them down.
Mm-hmm.
He also brought an awareness to them that I don't think that they had before. Like, you have a stylist? You're not going to get rid of your stylist?
A presence, yeah. Already absolutely added an element to the show that even Jackie wouldn't have done because Jackie was way older and not, really not. He had his own addictions, but he wasn't going to have the same type of stories as Artie because, they're two different people anyway. And also he wasn't allowed to be as on mic as Artie was.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. Even with Jack, and I that was a little bit harsh for me to say. Like,
Fred's
had
talent back in the day.
Robin is untalented.
Yes, Robin.
Fred, but
clearly untalented.
Yeah, she has no talent, and she's the co-host. So I don't know. I listen. Like I look at what I listen to now during work, and I just wonder. I feel like so much of Howard just doesn't hold up. And like you said, this clip right here, I guess at the time, because you were kind of in the Howard world, I get you're involved with it, but has it aged well? To me, no. Like, I can't even get through this fucking thing. And I don't think it's a clever bit. I don't think it's funny. I haven't even remotely laughed at any point.
No, it's self-absorbed and it's just masturbation basically for the air. And it was like, it was its own entity back then. But that's, again, like I said, it gets old, like he got old. And I mean, Steve Dahl let's use Steve Dahl as an example. He tried to go back to do other radio shows and he didn't get ratings because people just, it didn't happen. It's also not an era where radio is going to really survive radio hosts the way they used to. And at whatever money he was making was probably too much for ratings they were getting and advertisers, they couldn't afford him. But that's what would have happened to Howard had he stayed. He would have been priced out of, jobs and he just wouldn't have got ratings the same way. They just would have, yeah.
The only reason why these clips hold up is because we do a show that focuses on a topic that we need to pull them for. That's the only reason why these clips hold up is because we're doing an MPD show or we're doing that's the only relevance to these clips. Otherwise, nobody cares about them other than what we have to say about them.
In that context.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's how fucking sad it is.
Well, it sounds egotistical, yeah, but this is the only context in which they could be, if not entertaining, then I guess enlightening, I suppose.
Yeah, we're doing a show on MPD. I think a lot of people who would want to understand Howard Stern and NPD, boom. Otherwise, these clips are worthless.
Earlier in the show, Sam said that she thinks the new shows don't actually have any reasoning or any relation to the common people. I don't know if you guys remember that, but Sam said that. Yeah. And I'm just wondering if a show where a 70-year-old billionaire is locked away in a basement talking about anal porn to his retired limo driver, I think that relates to the people. So I think maybe I disagree with Sam there.
The people in Middle Earth. Well, listen, we're gonna end that one, guys. But let's do a topic.
That's like a fucking Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, totally. Fuck.
Well, it's real life, unfortunately.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
Except
God.
Howard's Burgess Meredith, but instead of the library being alone at the end of the world, it's just all the fucking stepdaughter porn that he can have.
It's a bunch of cats. It's a bunch of cats and them.
Yeah, maybe.
I just watched the best Twilight Zone episode. It's so old. It's Owl Creek
which one?
Bridge. The one at Owl Creek Bridge.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, is that good?
I love the old the original Twilight Zone is excellent. I just watched the Queen of the Nile the other night,
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, where it's Cleopatra. Like they just figure out that she's lived all these years because they go through the records, and it's amazing. You have to give that one a watch.
I'm watching, my next one is Eye of the Beholder. I'm watching that one next.
Fantastic.
Oh, dude, that's a classic.
To Serve Man is also a fucking amazing episode. Guys, sorry to get you down Gilbert Lane. We'll talk about Tony Fields soon. We'll really put it up forward into 2022. Guys, thank you guys so much for participating, of course. Cheers to everybody on Patreon, all the new subs. We hope you enjoy the content. We hope our displeasure is your pleasure. And thank you.
This one really was torture, so enjoy.
We're gonna bathe in Jello for an hour just to get rid of the stank. Thank you guys. Bob, take care. Sam, take care, and we love you. Have a good one, guys. Stay safe.
Love you guys.
If you went through the most incredible metamorphosis and somehow transformed yourself into the best person you're capable of being, and you and Lisa G, after that metamorphosis took place, were on the top floor of a burning building. And it's just you two. And God told Lisa, I will give you the ability to fly if you kiss John the Stutterer. She would say no.
I know. Well,